Live. Clap it up. Questions? Come on with it. I'm gonna jump on my topic first. Labor Day just passed. As y'all know, Labor Day just passed. We're gonna talk a little bit about work, a little bit about being black and working in America, why y'all celebrate Labor Day, why y'all look forward to it every year, and why school starts after Labor Day. All right, I'm tell y'all now, I'm gonna come back next week. We're gonna cover feminism from the first wave all the way to the fourth wave, which is right now. That means from the 1800s all the way to current day. We're gonna cover feminism and break it down and why your woman should shut up, right? And why feminism destroyed the black household. Right, so give me Genesis 3:19, and also what I'm gonna do. Should email like let me send you this so you can read it. Send it to both of y'all. Show emails. Email. Everybody should have a truth email. What's the email like?
No.
Yeah, check it out. Y'all sure. Ayash, what's your email? I need to know what the email is. Come on. You can just read it to me? Did you spell your name right? Let me see. It's not your email. This is your email. Yeah, you need a truth email. It's not a truth email. You need to go to the one for the school, and you can click. Click this right here. Click this.
You got this one.
I have your email. I'm sending it to you right now. Just send it to you. All right. We got Genesis 3:19. We're gonna read. In fact, somebody read this first. We're gonna start here first. The Labor Commission on Racial and Economic Justice. If you're online, check in the chat. Go ahead up.
A brief history of labor, race, and solidarity. America's Declaration of Independence asserts that all men are created equal and that they are endowed by the Creator with certain.
Drop down to industrialization and unions. Scroll down. It's a topic. So it's going to be in black. It's going to be in bold.
Industrialization and unions.
We're going to read a little bit about the beginning of unions, right? And being black. What happens on Labor Day first? You won't let Ayash. What happens on Labor Day? Labor Day just passed on Monday. What is Labor Day for? Labor Day is for all the workers who decided they needed a day off. Labor Day is to celebrate the labor of the United States. As the United States began to grow in power and industrial might, Labor Day was formed, I believe, in the 1860s. It was fully recognized by 1930, I believe, by 30 states. And then the United States adopted it as a federal holiday, Labor Day, a day where everybody has the opportunity to get the day off. Ayash?
So technically, wouldn't that have been your first black holiday then, being that we were just slaves and we were the ones that built this entire country up during those times?
It's not a black holiday. No, it's not. You're going to read industrialization and unions and you're going to find out why it's not a black holiday.
In the rest of the country, the Civil War economy increased the pace of industrialization and unleashed a new spirit of acquisitions and accumulation.
Mm-hmm.
Under unregulated capitalism, the ruthless reap the greatest rewards.
Mm-hmm.
Carnegie,
Mhm.
Vanderbilt,
Mhm.
Morgan,
Mm-hmm.
and Rockefeller monopolized whole industries:
These are 4 white men, good.
steel, railroads, finance, and oil.
They monopolized the steel industry, the railroad industry, the oil industry, and the finance industry, right? So society still runs on these industries, just so you know. Buildings are still built with steel. Railroads are still very integral to the United States. Of course, planes are now planes and the trucks, right? You have planes and trucks as well. But railroads are still a very important part of the United States economy. You have the finance system, right? You have all your banking institutions and oil, right? Oil powers gas. Your Vaseline is made from oil. All of that is very, very integral. You understand? To the United States economy. 4 white men monopolized these industries. They made sure they had complete control over the over the production and the supply of each of those industries to the public. Yeah.
They built large industrial works that reached across the continent. Using force, fraud, and unscrupulous business practices,
Mm-hmm.
they crushed competitors. They then colluded with each other to control the cost of production and the prices charged to consumers.
Drop down to in the second half.
In the second half of the 19th century, immigrants from Ireland, Italy, and Eastern Europe crowded into tenements in Boston, Chicago, New York, and Philadelphia, while Chinese immigrants were herded into Chinatowns in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Immigrants were consigned to large, dangerous factories and paid wages that fluctuated with regular recessions.
Mm-hmm. So immigrants that came over here, Chinese immigrants, Irish immigrants, European, Italian immigrants came over here and they began to work. And as they began to work, they were working in dangerous fields. They were coal mining, they were working in factories, right? Factory desks were a very big thing back then, right? So they were working in dangerous industries, building railroads and such. Go ahead.
Making them ripe for union organizing and all manner of radical ideas like a 40-hour work week and raising wages.
Meaning, before in the United States, a 40-hour work week was not normal. Why was it not normal? Why was a 40-hour work week not standard already by the time these immigrants came to the United States? Go ahead.
They had no real set hours for labor, being that they're just coming out of raising, raising slaves from.
So what you said again?
Because we were just coming out of a time of slavery.
Because who was coming out of slavery?
Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
So why would there be a work week? We're going to work them to the bone.
Right.
You understand? We're going to work them as much as possible. This is right after the Civil War. This is in the second half of the 1800s, 1850 to 1900, right around that time. All these immigrants start pouring into the United States after the Civil War happened, right? And they saw it as a new era of freedom and prosperity happening because of all these industries that were being built in the United States. Finance, oil, right? All of these things, the railroads and such, they started pouring in. And when they came, what did they say? I'm not working as hard as those black people that y'all work. Y'all work those black people to death. We know that. You are not going to work us like that.
Right.
So as they began to get into these factories and these oil refineries, right? building the railroads, they said, we know about slavery, and you will not slave us. We want 40-hour work week. You understand? We want a 40-hour work week. We want time off. We want this. We want that. That is the beginning of the idea of a union. That's why I said it was ripe for a union. There were no unions at this time, but it was the perfect opportunity because it was terrible conditions, which you have all of these people that want the better conditions. Right. They want representation. We don't.
The new industries, larger factories, and denser population centers created fertile ground for rapid union growth. Mm-hmm. A greater concentration of skilled workers in one place allowed traditional craft unions to grow.
I mean, that's how you got your construction union, your plumbers union. Give me some more. Your HVAC union. Give me some more. What's some unions you got? Transport railroad. You got a railroad union. You got a what's the one they got at the port downtown? You got a union for the port for driving the cars off of the container ships, right? You have a truckers union. You have a longshoreman union, a fisherman's union. Right. Why do you have all of these unions? Because you have concentrations of people with these skills in these areas, and they said we want to be treated more fairly, so they created organizations to represent them and get what they wanted. Yeah.
And large factories put multiple traders under one roof. Multiple trades under one roof. Mm-hmm. Enhancing the potential for federal structures. Enhancing the potential for federated structures like the one that would become the American Federation of Labor. Mm-hmm. The skilled trades still were overwhelmingly native-born, white protested males in the 19th century.
Right, and when they celebrate Labor Day too, I can now that you are learning the history that these are all immigrants who wanted from 1850s and on, who wanted some representation. They wanted representation, and they formed organizations to give them that representation. You should never be ashamed to be inside of the ISUPK, where an organization was formed for the needs of Blacks and Hispanics. All races form organizations to fit their needs. When the Chinese and the Italian and the Irish came over here, understand that they refused to be slaves, and they said, you will treat us fairly. Right. So the ISUPK was formed in 1969 to tell Blacks and Hispanics, you don't have to be a slave. This organization is to represent you. You understand? Right. Because what do we say? We don't need the love of the white man. He will respect us. Right. You understand? The ISUPK has the reputation, the ability to represent Blacks and Hispanics across the globe. And you should never feel bad because that is what immigrants celebrate every Labor Day. You understand? Right. That's what European immigrants and Chinese immigrants and Irish and Italian immigrants celebrate every Labor Day. They got together and fought for their people to have a better life. You understand? Right. Go ahead. Okay. Make sure you keep your finger way back there.
And because they earned relatively higher wages, they were able to pay dues for strike funds, sick pay, unemployment assistance, and burial assistance. Insurance. Sorry. They were reluctant to organize unskilled Irish and Italian Catholic immigrants.
Mm-hmm. So when you were unorganized, when you were unskilled, if they viewed you as unskilled, they did not put you inside of the union. You had to reach a certain threshold to go inside of this union, right? And being that this is in the late 1800s and early 1900s, who do you see is missing off of this list?
Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
There's no Black people on this list being included as a part of these unions. Read on.
Other unions did so enthusiastically. Mm-hmm. The Knights of Labor, founded in 1869, wanted to organize all workers, skilled and unskilled, men and women, mm-hmm. white and Black, mm-hmm. within an industry. Mm-hmm. They taught immigrants their rights as citizens, mm-hmm. built cooperatives, provided economic education, and promoted political reform.
So now you have one organization, the Knights of Labor, who said, hey, we will extend these union services to women as well and Black people as well. The bottom of society at that time.
Right.
Go ahead.
Colonel Khan. A railroad strike the Knights of Labor organized became the turning point in industrial conflict. A Knights wildcat strike in 1877 eventually embraced 100,000 workers, but ended in riots.
Ended in what?
Riots.
It embraced 100,000 workers. 100,000 workers were striking. They were striking, but it ended in riots, meaning they did not want them to strike. And what you'll find out is they organized counter strikes, as in get your behind to work movements. Go ahead.
But ended in riots, property damage, and state militia and federal troops being called out in 7 states.
So this did not happen with the other organizations. You understand?
Right.
With the other unions, they did not have all of these issues. And when when somebody said, "Hey, let's include the black people," what did the white people do? Riot. They rioted. They said, "We can't include the black people. Are you insane? This is for us, so we make a ton of money." You understand?
Right.
So we could be the master plumbers. We could be the master railroad. We could be the master longshoremen. We could be the truck drivers. This is not for black people. Black people are meant to work the meaningless jobs in society, the jobs that pay the least. That is what black people are meant to work, according to white people. Go ahead.
Donald Trump. After the Pittsburgh militia fired into a crowd and killed 7 people, killed several people, workers retaliated by destroying 39 buildings, 104 locomotives, and 1,245 train cars at the strike's end.
What does this sound like? It sounds like the George Floyd riots, right? The Waukesha riots. It sounds like everything that happens today, because there's nothing new under the sun. Anytime black people are included in something about fighting for rights, fighting for equality, what always happens? Riots always happen. Police get involved. Militia get involved. Black people get shot, right? Go ahead. So 39 buildings, 104 locomotives, which are trains, and what looks like cars, and 1,245 train cars were all destroyed. And 100 to 200 people either died, and hundreds more were injured. Yeah?
At the strike's end, 100 to 200 people were dead, and many hundreds more were injured or imprisoned. Before this event, strikers rarely faced more than light fines and brief jail terms.
Before this happened, the strikers rarely faced what?
Light fines and brief jail terms.
So when it wasn't including black people and the white people were on strike because they wanted their union benefits, it was light fines and maybe some light jail time. You understand?
Right.
This does not mean that white people were less destructive. This does not mean white people were more polite in how they act. This simply means when it came to the white workers, they made sure not to use their guns in their lives because they were fighting for more money. Good.
Slide you. Don't, if you look on TV, don't they do the same thing still now, sir?
Don't let the Red Sox win the World Cup, win a World Series. If you let the Red Sox win a World Series, everything in Boston goes upside down. Everything. Cars are on fire, trees are burning, all the white women in the street like whores with their breasts out. Everybody's drunk. People die. People get stampeded upon. Car crashes happen. And what happens? What happens to all those people in Boston? It's seen as a celebrate. Come on. They celebrate. They celebrating because the Red Sox, the man for the Red Sox hit the ball real far. And when he hit the ball real far, the Red Sox won. You got to let him flip the damn car over and burn it. Shot.
Light fines and brief jail time.
Yeah. There's light fines and brief jail time. You got to do something. You're under arrest for disorderly conduct and setting the building on fire. 30 days community service. You understand? 30 days community service. Meanwhile, if you see all these black people, they're fighting for their right to have access to the same amount of money as their white counterparts doing the same job. Several of them were killed.
Right.
And up to hundreds were injured. Read on, Ayash.
Con. Before this event, strikers rarely faced more than light fines and brief jail terms. But industrialists were irate at the destruction of their property.
Mm-hmm.
They reorganized state militias, built local armies, developed ties developed ties with the army, and built their own private security forces, complete with spies and strikebreakers.
Complete with what?
Spies and strikebreakers.
Yeah, people inside the fight for black people to get fair money, spying for the big corporations, getting a check for the big corporations, spying, keeping an eye on them. And anytime somebody would say, hey, man, we need to strike at such and such, they have strike breakers. Meaning what? Really? I mean, come on, man. It's not that bad. They take care of us. We all right. We good. It ain't that goddamn bad. People trying to tell you to calm down. It's not that serious. White people don't treat us that bad. They don't treat us that bad. We really got to strike for real.
Right.
We can't just love them. Come on, man. Come on. He said he'll work on giving us that pay increase. He said he's going to work on it. Read on.
This marked the beginning of a very violent fight over the right of workers to a union and to demand higher wages and shorter work days.
This marked the beginning of a very violent fight. You understand?
Right.
Very violent fight happened for you to get higher wages and shorter work days.
Right.
You understand? Because like I said, the 40-hour work week was non-existent.
Right.
Meaning, if I said your work week was from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., guess what you was doing? You was getting up and coming to work from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. And if I said it was 7 days a week, guess what you was doing? 7 days a week. Why? Because there was nobody regulating me. Because you know what I said? It's my business, and if I want you to work like this, you're going to work like this. Go ahead.
Okay. In the last 2 decades of the 19th century, more than 6 million workers were involved in 23,000 strikes.
Mm-hmm.
Militia, police, federal troops, and Pinkerton detectives often beat and shot strikers who responded with sabotage, pickets, boycotts, and attacks on scabs or strikebreakers.
Mm-hmm.
Violent battles were a regular occurrence in the coal fields of Colorado, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania between 1900 and 1925. And the streetcar strike.
You going too fast. I do not comprehend what you. Drop down to the scale. Right after it says 1912, where it says the scale.
Okay. The scale and scope of industrial actions was huge.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of California, the army of industrial workers striking and fighting in the early 20th century was predominantly white.
Mm-hmm.
Although ethnically, religiously, and politically diverse, this soon would change.
Meaning what? All of the people that was doing this outside of California were Italians, Europeans, American whites, Germans that would come over here. Ethnically, they were racially white, but ethnically, this is an Italian, this is a European, this is an American. You understand?
Right.
These are
separated even though it's still all white.
Right. You understand?
Black workers.
Yeah, go to black workers.
Black workers moved north. In 1910, 90% of African Americans lived in the South.
Yeah.
The vast majority were sharecropping in rural areas.
Mm-hmm.
But hostilities in Europe had almost stopped the flow of white workers to northern factories, while increasing the demand for product from munitions and weapons manufacturers. This gave unions more negotiating power, and wages were inching up. So employers,
you gotta learn how to stop at the period. Sorry, you gotta stop. Shotgun, read that scripture real quick.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 19. Or you have it.
Come.
And the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread.
In the sweat of your face shall you eat bread. What did I just say? If you was told to work from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., you had to work those hours. Meaning if you were in the factory all day long, sweating around dangerous machinery, and then you had to walk home, when you got in the house and it was time for you to eat, you were eating with sweat on your face. You understand? You had to eat with sweat on your face. You were not able to just enjoy the fruits of your labor. You had to eat with the sweat on your face because you don't have time to shower and sit down and do this. You got to hurry up and eat and then go to bed. You got to eat lunch in the factory. You got to eat lunch in the middle of this grueling job that you have. You are eating it in the sweat of your face. All of your labor is going to be laborious. It's going to be very physical, painful, taxing. You understand? And that's why the immigrants came over here and said, we're not doing that. You understand? The Chinese immigrants came over here and said, I'm not doing that. I see what the black people are going through, and I'm not doing it. You are going to give us money for cleaners. I'm not working in your factory. Give me money for the cleaners. Give me grants. You understand? That's why the Irish said, I'm not working on the railroad. Give me money for a bar. I need a bar. I need to open a bar. I want to open a bar. I want to open a construction company. Give me grants. You understand? That's why they did that, because they saw how hard blacks and Hispanics work for little to nothing. And then they said, I'm not doing that. Put me inside of a store. What do you see when you go to major cities now? You go downtown North, what do you see? You go downtown Jersey City, what you see? Somebody selling candy off of what? A cart on the side of the street. They're not in the store. You understand? Right. Shirts on the side of the street, oils, incense on the side of the street. For the most part, blacks and Hispanics are not inside the stores. On the highway, the Hispanics is still selling mangoes.
Right.
With spicy seasoning on it. You understand? And watermelons with the child strapped to their back.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah, right.
And that's why the people, they come over here and they go, the Africans say, I'm not doing that. Give me a grant for a 99-cent store. You understand? They say, I'm not doing it. Give me a grant for a 99-cent store. And they give it to them. They see how blacks struggle and they refuse to do it. That is Labor Day. Labor Day was immigrants coming over here, looking at black people sweat after slavery and said, oh, hell, I'm not doing that. They still slaves. Immigrants knew after slavery ended, black people were still slaves. They came, saw the slavery and said, you are going to give me grants for my business because I'm not dealing with it. You understand? Because I'm not dealing with it.
Right.
Read on.
Kind of a con. Till thou return unto the ground, for out of it wast thou taken, for thus thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return.
Give me Ecclesiastes 7:13.
Ecclesiastes.
Matter of fact, give me Deuteronomy 28 and 33.
Deuteronomy 28
Deuteronomy 28 and 33.
and 33. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 33.
Mm-hmm.
The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
The fruit, read it one more time.
Deuteronomy
28 and 33.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 33. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
You were doing the work of several men, of several women, working, toiling away, and you were getting paid the wage of half a man, a fourth of a man. You understand?
Right.
You were not reaping the benefits of the work you were doing because we are still slaves inside of America. So when you think about Labor Day, that is why Labor Day is celebrated by other people and should not be celebrated by you. You understand?
Right.
Hey,
finish it up, sir.
I'm going to get back to you. Y'all should go back.
Cut on, car.
back into the
compound. So employers started recruiting black workers from the South as strikebreakers and replacement workers. About 500,000 black workers moved to Chicago, Detroit, Ohio, Philadelphia, and St. Louis between 1910 and 1920.
between 1910 and 1920. This is what they call it, the migration. Everybody say everybody's family's from what? Mississippi, Alabama, the Carolinas, right? The family is really from there, but everybody moved up to Chicago, New York, Detroit, and all these areas. Go ahead.
The worst recorded incident in labor-related racial violence occurred in St. Louis in 1917, when the aluminum ore company brought in African-American workers to break a strike. 3,000 white union members marched in protest.
You just slow it down, right? When you're reading, right? Try to enunciate each word you're saying. Go ahead.
3,000 white union members marched in protest.
Mm-hmm.
The marchers morphed into a mob, attacking random black residents on the street.
Read it again.
The marchers morphed into a mob, attacking random black residents on the street.
Meaning 3,000 white workers organized a strike. They all organized a strike, and then what happened? They said, you know what? We could bring those. Now, mind you, now listen to this part carefully, because what do black people, when black people don't like Hispanics that come from over the border, what is the main reason going on? What's the main reason black persons say they don't like the Hispanics that's coming over the border?
Because they're taking our jobs.
They're taking our jobs. They're taking our jobs. They're taking our jobs. And what is the response that an average person might get? They're willing to do the jobs for less than you are. They'll do the same thing for less than you. They'll pick tomatoes. You won't pick tomatoes. They'll pick the grapes. You won't pick the grapes. You want more money for a different type of job. They'll take less money and they'll do the hard work. You understand? Now read this. Keep that in mind. Read this. Read that again. Read that sentence before that.
When the aluminum ore company brought in African-American workers to break a strike.
Brought in black people to break a strike. What is break a strike? Break a strike means you have
to end the strike.
You're trying to end it. Meaning you have other people that are striking. We're not going to work till you pay us X amount of money. They brought in black people to end that strike. Meaning you won't go to work, right. The niggas will. And they'll do it for less money.
Right.
You understand what I just said? Mm-hmm. The same thing that an average Jake in the world will say he don't like a Hispanic who crossed the border for is the exact tactic the white man did when it was time for him to replace the white workers. You understand? Mm-hmm. The white workers wanted to strike. He brought in black people. You understand? Because what is the white man always going to make sure he gets? His dollar. Right. He's always going to make sure I get my dollar. So you looking at the Hispanic brother like, it's your fault. But in reality, brother, the white man does not want to pay you a fair wage.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
That brother has to cross a border because the white man took his land first. You understand? Took his land. And then in this new land, he won't pay you a fair wage.
Right.
You understand that? And now he has y'all going at it. He has us going at it because you want more money and he want his land back. You understand that?
Right.
So do it sound like the Mexican is the devil, or do it sound like somebody else? It sound like somebody else is the devil.
God.
Right. It sound like somebody else is the goddamn devil, and we're reading his tactic here. We're reading him do it to his own people because he's a grubby bastard that only wants $1.
Right.
Go ahead.
3,000 white union members marched in protest. Mm-hmm. The marchers morphed into a mob, attacking random black residents on the street. The following day, shots were exchanged between whites and blacks in the black part of the town.
Marchers marched. They marched up and down, and it turned into them marching. So every time they saw, they went to the black neighborhoods to march. What are they telling you to do? What did they say when, what's the little white boy name? No. Kyle Rittenhouse. When he used his rifle to take out those protesters, right? He took them out. He said, "I got every right to be here," and he took them out, right? Took them out and shot them down. That was a white man killing a white man. What did they say? What were they saying? the moral issue was with him doing that. Why would you go down there?
Right.
Why'd you go down there? What's happening here? You have white people marching deliberately through a black neighborhood.
Right.
And as soon as they saw black people, what happened? They got violent. You understand? They assaulted them. And then the black people in what? Defense. So they shoot back. And then what did the white person do? Shot back, and now what we have? You have a shootout in a black neighborhood between white people and black people, because white people were upset because they wouldn't take the scraps being fed to them by their own people.
Right.
You understand? But us, coming from slavery, having nothing, said, if you got a job, I'll take it.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
You have a job, I'll take it. And that's what the Hispanics say when they cross the border. You have a job, I'll take it. You do not become the white person. Do you understand that?
Right.
Don't become the white person.
Right.
Don't become the white person marching through, going through the Hispanic area, looking at you, mean mugging every Hispanic you see. Go back to Guatemala. Taking on jobs. Why? Because he had a job opportunity, he took it. You should be mad at the people who run the country and do not run it efficiently so that you can have a job.
Right.
Read on.
The following day, shots were exchanged between whites and blacks in the black part of town.
Mm-hmm.
2 plainclothes officers were killed.
Mm-hmm.
When the news got out, roving white mobs rampaged through black East St. Louis, burning homes and businesses and assaulting men, women, and children. Between 100
Assaulting what? Assaulting what?
Burning homes and businesses and assaulting men, women, and children.
Men, when they call you a savage, remember that. When they call black people savages, when they call Indian means savage, when they call you a savage, remember what they did when they dollar got low. You understand that? Mm-hmm. Remember what they did when they dollar got low. They went after the children. They went after the women. They saw your wife and took a shot at her. Started shooting at your wife. Could you imagine that? You imagine a white man being upset because you took his factory job, comes into your neighborhood, sees your wife walking your child to the grocery store, and starts shooting at your wife. Start shooting at your child. You understand that?
Right.
When they call you a savage, they say that white people, they got more gun violence than everybody. There's more gun violence in the hood than anywhere else. Black people are the problem in America. That's why I see that all over the place. It's black people that's the problem. You take black people out, look at, and they start taking statistics, and they go, if you see black people, you see the statistics on the gun violence. If you take black people out, America's the safest country. Go ahead.
Slocky, if that was the case, then why was 77 million Native Americans, Native Indians unalive then? If that was the case, why do we
They don't say that. They don't say that was war. That's a difference. Then, that's different. We're not at war. There's no civil war going on in the country.
Okay, then why was it 100 million black people unalive on a land slave trade?
Look, we don't want to talk about that.
Oh, we can't talk about that.
No, we can't talk about that.
Okay.
That's not prevalent to the conversation. What we are currently talking about is black people are the problem.
Oh no, okay, then I got another one. Why do we have the Trail of Tears?
Trail of Tears. They shouldn't have been crying when they was walking, man. I don't know what you want from me.
I got more, sir. I mean, I got plenty more that I can say than why this or why that. Why even still in the year of 2024 they're finding black men hung from trees? Why is that happening? Why is
that's a lone actor, brother. That does not represent the feelings of the entire nation.
Then why is the cops? Why the police department still murdering, unaliving black little boys and black men? I don't see no Indians being unalived by the police.
Brother,
I don't see white people.
Brother, y'all harm yourself way more.
I don't see
way more than the
Chinese being
it's
unalived by the police for no
8,000
reason.
black. It's 8,000 black.
For a cell phone. Black people being unalived for having a cell phone. What about being pulled over for no reason and black people being unalived? I don't see Chinese that happens to the Chinese.
Because y'all criminals.
What about the Chinese gangsters? Don't they got a hold? What about the Chinese gangsters?
What about the Russian
mafia? What about the Russian mafia? They have something called the Russian mafia.
But y'all
What
are
about
bigger
the
criminals.
what's the Jewish mafia? They have something called the Jewish mafia in the United States.
Y'all are bigger criminals.
What about bigger criminals? Who owns the world? Jewish people.
That's good.
Who runs
Conspiracy, brother.
who runs
That's just a conspiracy.
who runs what is it, Hollywood? Who runs the record industry?
Yeah, well, I don't like Hollywood either.
Who runs the record industry? They stole it.
But y'all the ones rapping.
What about the Italian mafia? Italian mafia,
They not permanent today.
but they own all the Italian business and all the
criminals
and
today.
all of the.
You're the problem with America.
What about the bank system?
You have
What
to
about the bank system?
go back to Africa.
No, it took us from there. I got
So like, it's like-
I know, sir. I know what you mean, sir.
So like,
That's
you
crazy.
understand?
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Prohibition. Since you say that we're bigger criminals than the mafia.
What do you mean?
The mafia were the ones that was running the liquor trade until prohibition. Because the
I wasn't. That's not a real argument I was having. What I'm saying is, when you say any of the things that you were trying to say, y'all the criminals. Just 8,000 black on black violence, gun unalivings, gun unalivings, 8,000 a year, black on black. You can't bring up what the Italian mob used to do to them. You can't bring up what the Greek mob used to do. You can't bring up what they currently do, what the Jewish mob does, what the average Jewish man does. Right? They're going to tell you that's not me, though. That's not me. You understand? You can't say those things because they're going to pretend like they never happened or it's not related to the conversation that y'all are having.
Right.
You understand? When in reality, what you're reading is the history of what white people do when they don't have money. You understand? They do what every other race does. Huh? They try to take this moral high ground because they stole everything from everybody. And when you steal everything, what can you do? Now that you got all of this in reserve, you got all these countries, all these the Vatican got a vault full of priceless items. Priceless. You understand? The Ark of the Covenant is the Vatican. You understand? Priceless items. And you read the scriptures out, it's made out of pure gold. You understand that? Made out of pure gold. Not to mention all the other things they've stolen from other races and ethnicities. You understand? It's just when you steal everything and you have all of this cash and you sit on top of the world and you have 666 men that rule the earth, you can take the moral high ground. You can say, you have a savage, it's not necessary, but you have no dollar. Right? The scriptures say Judah mourneth and the gates languish.
Right.
You're gonna have somebody standing in the front speaking for the people. You understand? Let alone the resources and all that. You don't have somebody that's standing in the front of the people saying, these are our demands like a union does. You understand that? And they're going to say, you are a savage and your 8,000 deaths a year caused by black on black crime is disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself. They gave you black Christianity. They're going to say, black Christianity has done nothing for you. That is terrible. You don't go to church enough. They gave you black Christianity.
Right.
You understand? The CIA gave you the drugs. You understand? They would not give you fair wage after slavery. You understand? They gave you the situation, and when you react how everybody on earth, I got you. When you react how everybody has ever acted on earth, you are the worst thing moving, and you got to go back to Africa. You understand? The Chinese came over here and sold opium because they wouldn't give them nothing. And then they gave them tailors. They gave them dry cleaners and laundromats, Chinese stores.
Right.
You understand? Because they came over here selling opium. They said, give us stuff. They said, no. They said, we selling drugs. You understand? They said, we selling drugs. I got kids to feed them selling drugs. They said, all right, here's the tailors. Here's the laundromat. Here's the cleaners. Here's a Chinese store. You got it. Here's your grants.
Right.
You understand? Here's your grant. Matter of fact, here's your whole Chinatown. You understand?
Right.
Here's your the nail industry. Look. Stop selling opium. Stop selling opium. They love it. They love nails. We'll give you most of the beauty supply stores. We'll give them to you. Don't worry about it. Nope. Freaks on the house. Don't worry about it. You understand? They don't make them grovel for it. The Chinese had too much pride to grovel for it. I got all of y'all. The Chinese got too much damn pride. They said, I'm not groveling for this. No, sir, you ain't got to grovel. There you go. You understand? Black people, we grovel and we don't get nothing. You understand? You get nothing. You lick the boots of your oppressor and get nothing.
Right.
Meanwhile, the Africans got the 99-cent store. The Chinese got all the cleaners in the laundromats. The Italians got all the pizza shops, all the bakeries, all the pastry places. They got all of that. You understand? They got unions in construction. They got unions in the firemen. They got unions for the firefighters. They're police officers. The Portuguese got to become police officers. They got everything. Anybody that came over here selling drugs, they said, here you go. No. Stop selling drugs. Take this. But when you bring up the crimes of white people, they're going to say, no. I'm not Portuguese. I'm not Jew. I'm not Jewish. So I have the Jewish mafia. How does that mean something to me? But every time an Edomite came over here, whether they called themselves Italian, Greek, or Portuguese, they came over here, they got something.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
They got something. Even the Hamites got something, the Chinese got something. You understand?
Right.
As soon as a black person asks for something, you're asking for too much, you're groveling, you always want something. Why don't you want to work? It's disgusting. This is disgusting. Go back to Africa. I can't deal with this. After you built his whole country. You built his whole country, and he got all the infrastructure up and running now. Now you're like, you know what? Get out of it. You don't like it? Get out of it. You understand? He tells you that because he knows Africa's not, you're not African. So now you like, I'm going to go back to where I'm not from. You understand?
Right.
I'm going to go back over there. They don't give you an option. You understand? So then what you do? Put your application in that Target. Target ain't paying you nothing, but he's not giving me a dry cleaners.
Right.
You gotta grind it up for that dry cleaner. You want something? You want a business? Grind. I'm talking about see your family less. You understand? I'm talking about the days everybody else take off, you working because you're grinding up cash to get your own business. You understand? Also, you can stand next to Trump with a big smile on your face. I did it. Why can't y'all do it too? You understand? It's ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous because when they didn't have a dollar, they did the same thing everybody else does. You understand? When a man doesn't have money and he has somebody's mouth to feed, what will he do? Inevitably, if he does not serve the Lord, what will he do? He won't commit a crime for some cash. It's that simple. It's that simple. There's a woman somewhere in his circle that's hungry. There's a child somewhere in his circle that's hungry. And if no cash is coming in that house, he's committing a crime. Do you understand that?
Right.
He's committing a crime. He doesn't care. It's so prevalent now because white people used to tell each other, go big or go home. You're going to rob the bank, don't rob them for 25 racks. Get them for 25 million. It's the same time. I'm getting the same time. Give me everything.
Right.
Because when I go do my time, I know that my family going to eat the whole time I'm in.
Right.
Instead of eating for 1 year, they're going to eat for the whole, however long I'm in. You understand?
Right.
That's how much they know about being criminals, huh? They know, even on a petty level, not just still in the world, not just still in continents, huh? They know what it's like to have the feeling to want to steal a bank. You understand? They know what the hell it's like. And they're going to sit here and pretend like we've never done that. We would never do that. That is disgusting. How dare you equate us to a mob? We are above that. Do you see this suit I have on? That is disgusting.
Sure. It's like if I may, sir, what you're saying is so heavy, right? Because and they had a time where when New York was early and they had the gangs in New York, which is the movie is based on true events and true situations where the Irish would come over here and burn things down, and that's how they got the fire department because they was instead of y'all keep burning stuff down, we gonna give you pubs and we gonna give you the fire department. Now y'all the fire department. Mm-hmm. That's how they got started. The police department. We gonna let y'all police these Negroes. That's how all that got started. But what's even sadder and what's so heavy about what you just said, when blacks don't have nothing, when we come together before segregated, before we got what's it called?
Integration.
Before integration, before integration, and we had places like Black Wall Street and all those things. We band together and we make it work, and our money stay within each other, and we grew. When they was having a downfall, we grew. We grew. Just all we just did was come together. But when they do it, it's war. It's always war. It's always fight against one another. It's always the best to see who's on top. It's disgusting, sir. It's disgusting.
I don't know if y'all remember this. Exactly 2 years to the day, 16 Arabs got brought over here on the asylum, were all given several $1 million apiece in Airbnbs. And 3 of them sexually assaulted a federal officer,
right.
and it got swept under the rug.
Right.
No, I don't remember that.
But this happened exactly 2 years to the day. And then, in the midst of that, a group of Romanian men kidnapped 16 kids, all in less than an hour on the outskirts of Philly. And if it wasn't for U.S. Marshals catching on, they would have got away with more child trafficking. But they say we're the biggest criminals.
Right. Right.
So, you know how you on Oscar Chavez was going back. So, in that argument, in that type of argument, what you should say, I mean, of course, you say everything like you were saying, but like, you should say when y'all was like, say, if you're arguing with a white boy or whatever, and y'all have this argument with black people, statistics, y'all do this, y'all do that. The argument would be, well, when y'all was poor, y'all did this, y'all did that. Would that be the right argument? Instead of like trying to like, what's it say?
It's a part of the argument.
The part of the argument.
So it's a part of the argument. When they try to act like, I mean, like it's, you have people, of course, your character shines. What you are made of truly comes out when you have nothing. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to steal, it's going to show. You understand? If you're a thief, it's going to show you. If you are upstanding man, it's going to show because you're not going to steal in that outfall. You understand? And that is prevalent in every race. You understand? That is prevalent in every race. And all you have to do to show, if you want to show him that, if it is wise for you to say that to him in that argument, all you have to do is say exactly what I just said. Yes. All you do is show him that. They just pull some instances of white people being down on their luck and committing crime.
Right.
And committing crimes. All the stories of the white people putting on the black skin masks and the black and the black sleeves, the arm sleeves, the skin arm sleeves, and robbing and yeah, they got a skin mask where it looked like it's a face. It is it's further enough away from the cameras and all that to where can't nobody tell us a skin mask. Whoever you robbing is scared, so they're not worried about it look like a skin mask. It's a very, very good mask. It's a very good. Hollywood uses masks sometimes. You understand? And they use those to commit crimes when they need cash. A black man did it, so that way they don't come after me. They don't come after me. And what is the news reported as? Black man robs convenience store. You understand? Of course, the truth might come out later. It was white, what is that third? But they do that between, and then they can use that to. You come across a white boy that might go, look at these statistics. Look at this. Y'all be robbing stores when you're down. You be robbing stores. Matter of fact, you're so disgusting. You pretend you look like me when you do it. You understand? You pretend you look like me because you know the cops are going to just go and find the next black person they can that looks somewhat similar and harass him and arrest him, slam him. You understand? And do all of that because, you know, they said he was black. You understand? So you can absolutely use that in an argument, depending on how the argument goes.
It's like, so one more point. And how you were saying how they leave, I mean, he said go big or go home, like they'd rather do this. You got when the mafia was doing their thing, they made a show. I don't know if y'all remember My Wives. They was getting paid. They wives were even getting paid just off the criminal acts that they was doing years before that. And now y'all got My Wives. Like that's like making Blood Wives or Crip Wives or something like that.
It's ridiculous.
So like,
it's unheard of. You understand? It's unheard of. Having to, and today, imagine all the Crips and the Blood started today. It started 10 years ago. And then you had the founders' wives on the television show on VH1.
Right.
White people would lose their goddamn mind. It was, are you serious? Are you serious? Lock all those women up. What the hell is your problem? They're going to protest the show. It's going to be on Fox News. It's going to be on CNN. This is ridiculous. But Mob Wives is top tier entertainment.
Right.
You understand? That is the wife to a mobster. You understand? And sometimes don't they implicate themselves sometimes?
Right.
God.
They'll tell you that, yeah, I did this with him. Yeah, I've been here. I'm this. Yeah, he's a snitch. Yeah, you understand?
That rat bastard.
You understand?
We're gonna try together.
And they have those women up there paraded for entertainment. You understand? Paraded for entertainment. The scale, the weight has never been. You understand?
Right.
You are always held to a higher standard than white people, even by white people. And I'm here to tell you that you should hold yourself to a higher standard as well.
Right.
So when they sitting there saying, we not as bad as y'all are terrible. They're holding you to a higher standard than them. What they're saying is, we are garbage. We're garbage. It ain't that big a deal when we do it. I mean, we steal all the time. We take people. Come on, that's what we do. We do that. Why you gonna keep bringing it up? But you, I can't believe y'all are unaliving each other like this. That is ridiculous. You know what? You're right, because we better than you. You're right. We are 100% better than you. And there's no reason why we should be doing what we're doing to ourselves. You're right, Mr. White Man, because you're a piece of garbage.
Right.
You're a piece of garbage. And I should expect you to do what you do. The Lord said, what I've made crooked, no man can make straight. Give me that in the scriptures.
Come God.
Give me, what is that? Ecclesiastes 7 and 13.
That's that.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Ayash.
I just wanted to say, pertaining to what you were saying with Royale, not only that, they hold us to a higher standard, but yet we still all fit the description. And that's their excuse to unallow us. But yet, we can't say nothing to them.
Exactly.
Because we do it to
You
each
can't,
other.
yeah, you can't say, I can say you fit the description. I can say you fit. A black brother that goes to MIT is still included in the statistics of black people.
Right.
You understand? Well, why can't I include the Italian mob, the Irish mob, and the Jewish mob, and the Russian mob when I'm talking about white people?
Right.
Why do you get to say, I didn't do that? That's not me, because they hold themselves to a low standard. You understand? They look at themselves and say we're criminals. They put a suit on and they commit crime. They get sharp to commit crimes. You go commit your crimes out. You go with the dirtiest thing you got. You make sure it's all black. You make sure you got something that they make sure you can see my face. Make sure you go get a goddamn what's it called? A ski mask. And if it ain't got the eyes already cut, you cut your eyes. You cut your little mouth out. You are ashamed of what you do when you commit a crime. You're ashamed. He commit a crime, he gonna get shot. He gonna get tailored to his suit. He get it fitted in the mirror like this before he rob you blind. You understand?
Yeah.
Right?
They call it white collars, a white collar crime.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? A white collar crime. You know what I'm saying? It's more sophisticated. Right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't rob him, man. I robbed 5,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? I robbed the company. You understand? I took a company under. I swindled. I bamboozled people into a Ponzi scheme. This ain't no regular crime. This is a white collar crime. How dare you associate me with this black man? You understand? Yeah. Ecclesiastes 7 and 13.
I got it, sir.
Good. 7 and 13. Good.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 13. Consider the work of God, for who can make that straight which he have made crooked?
Consider the work of God. If the Lord made your oppressors crooked, then who the hell are you to try to say he's fixable? You understand? Who the hell are you to try to say you're not better than him? The Lord said you are better than him. A special people above all other people. That's what the Lord said. The God of the Bible said that.
Right.
Who the hell are you to say, no, we all people, we all flawed? He is a flaw that cannot be corrected. You understand? The white man is worse than even Tupac. The white man is worse than shape ups. The white man is worse than tattoos. The white man is worse than Christianity. Him as a person is crooked. You understand? Unfixable. Unfixable. You got tattoos. Yeah. You used to get shape ups. You understand? You was in the streets. You ain't know better. You thought that was being a man. You ain't know better. if you are white, there's no redemption. You understand that? There's no coming in the truth. You are a forever crooked person. You understand? You forever crooked. And who the hell are you to try to make straight what the Lord made crooked? On the contrary, who the hell are you to take a prince of the Lord, a prince of the power, and tell him it's okay that he commit crimes? Tell him he should go be a Republican or a Democrat. He should go commit white collar crimes and be more sophisticated that way. What's the cat name? SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, that robbed everybody of the crypto. Robbed everybody of the crypto. I think it was billions of crypto. He was cooking a lot. He was getting them. He got everybody for everything, hotel rooms, and that. He over there living lavish. Living lavish. When he was under investigation, he was staying on an island. You understand? Stand on an island drinking with his ugly woman. You understand? Salakia. She looked like a toad. Salakia. He was on an island with her drinking while they were investigating him for stealing billions. You understand that? You understand? You are better. Hold yourself to a better standard. Don't look around and say, well, the heathens commit crimes. Precept. What's the precept for not looking around and saying, well, the heathens commit crimes? What's the precept for that? Give me Judges 2:21. Nope. Give me Judges 2:21. Paraphrase it, Kashat.
Damn, I know this one. It's about the. I know this. Say what you just said again, sir. This is how you phrased it. Say that again. That's why I know the phrase about making.
They sin, so why can't we sin?
Don't paraphrasing it. Don't.
Let's give me Judges 2:21.
Damn. It's
Don't try to say this is what you was talking about when I put it. Nah,
I think
he's doing it.
No, wait.
He gearing up. He gearing up, stalling.
No.
I'm gonna say,
Look.
I
ain't even pulling.
He's gonna go. Judges 2:21. Everybody say that.
I'm telling you, is this the one?
Go y'all again, read it.
You trying to cook me, dog? You're not gonna cook. I know this one.
Go y'all again,
I'm
read
so
He even said paraphrase it.
trying to word it right.
No, it's like read it.
Judges chapter 2, verse 21. I also will not henceforth drive out any from before them of the nations which Joshua left when he died.
I'm not going to remove all the Africans, Chinese, and white people from around you. I'm not doing that. Go ahead.
Verse 22. That through them I may prove Israel.
That what?
That through them I may prove Israel.
I'm going to keep them near you to prove you, man.
Whether they will keep the way of the Lord to walk therein, as their fathers did keep it, or not.
I'm going to keep them around you so I can see. Are you going to follow me because there's no heathens around you? Meaning, is it possible for you to see the heathens eating dog and you still don't eat unlawful things? Is it possible for you to witness somebody else celebrate Christmas and you still tell your children, we don't celebrate Christmas and we never will? Is that possible? Is that in you? You understand? The Lord want to know that you are following him in sincerity. You understand? So he said, I'm not removing them. So you cannot say, they do it. Why can't I do it? That's why he left the heathens there. To see who has that mentality. Who has the mentality of, if I see somebody else celebrating Christmas, I'm going to celebrate Christmas. You understand?
Right.
Go ahead. You drop that action. Give me back where you was. Yeah, she give me back to where you was at.
You saying you want what I had?
Where was you at? Where was you at before this?
I had Deuteronomy 28 and 33, the end of it.
Yeah, go back into the read.
2 plainclothes officers were killed. When the news got out, roving white mobs rampaged through Black East St. Louis, burning homes and businesses and assaulting men, women, and children. Between 100 and 200 Black working people died, and 6,000 were left homeless. It foreshadowed things to come.
Read that.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 33. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always.
You're going to only be oppressed and crushed. That's all you're going to be. Oppressed and crushed. You understand? Black people thought, they let us in to break the strike. We're going to make some money now. You will only be what?
Oppressed and crushed always.
Those white people was on strike because they wanted 15 an hour, and they were trying to pay them 11. And they brought you in because they know that you'll do it for 7. You understand?
Right.
And you like, oh, well, I'm gonna get some money now. You will never get what those white people was fighting for. You understand? You will be oppressed and crushed always because this is not your rest. Right. America is not the place where you will stay and flourish and pass down generational wealth to your children. It's not. You see some people do it and you think, well, we all can do it. Everybody can do it. I have an uncomfortable truth for Black people. In the world, in life, in every life you will ever live under reincarnation, there will remain a constant truth. There will be a people on top. There will be a people on the bottom. Do you understand? And because you desire equality and not supremacy, you will always be on the bottom.
Right.
Until you come in the ISUPK, where we don't require equality. We don't require to be looked at as equal footing. And I would like to rule the earth. You understand? The Black men inside the ISUPK would like to rule the earth. The Black women inside the ISUPK want men who want to rule the earth.
Right.
The children of the men in ISUPK watch their father to learn how to rule the earth. You understand? We're not fighting for equality. That's why we don't vote. You understand? That's why we don't vote. I don't care who wins because I don't care if you make us equal. Right. Do you understand?
Right.
I don't care. There's a Christ coming back. There's a king coming back. There's a man that's going to crack the sky. And he's going to show you why you shouldn't have did what you did. You understand? So you don't got to make us equal. You do what you want. You understand? You do what you want, and we're going to believe in the Lord. You understand?
Right.
We're going to go ahead and work these jobs and be upstanding citizens. We won't harm nobody. We won't gang bang. We won't sell drugs. We won't sleep with whores. Our women won't be on the pole. You understand? We won't eat pork. We're going to follow the Bible to the T. You understand? And we're not going to go against American law at the same time. You understand that?
Right.
And you believe in your equality. We'll believe in our coming supremacy from Christ. Just give it time. We'll see who right. You understand? Just give it time. Go ahead. And what does the Bible say? That is the patience of the saints. You understand? That's the patience. You don't do this. You don't do this job just because I believe in an invisible God. Believe in this God and do this job because he said your patience is going to pay off. He's not telling you all your desires will not be fulfilled and you're going to go into a white heaven where everybody's equal and everybody has baby wings and everybody wears a white robe and white cloth. You're going to get the things you desire. You just have to sacrifice your fleshly pleasures and you have to do what I'm telling you to do.
Right.
And then I'm going to give you what you desire. You understand? Go ahead. Go ahead. Do you have what he has? Go ahead. Can you share that with him?
A year later, 4 million soldiers returned from World War I with no plan for absorbing them into the economy. Unemployment rose rapidly. Both white and Black veterans felt betrayed in the Red Summer of 1919. 38 separate race riots occurred. All of them white mobs attacking blacks.
What?
All of them were white mobs attacking blacks.
In the summer of 1919 was dubbed the Red Summer. 38 separate. 30. Could you imagine seeing this on the news today 38 times separately? January 1st, January 8th, January 9th, February 1st, 5th, 16th, 20th, March 3rd. Just race riots where black people are being unalived constantly. So much that they call it the Red Summer. Go ahead. All because, what is this because of, Aki? Because white people wanted $1. They wanted $1. You understand? See, you out here taking the life of a brother over some drugs or over a corner, over a woman, and you do that 3-4 times in the streets, you respect it. You respect it. Even from somewhere else, you gain respect. But what happens when they do 38 race riots in a year, in a summer? It's called the Red Summer, not the Red Year. They do 38 race riots, killing hundreds of black men over a 3-month period. What do you call those people? What do you call those people? They was fighting. The media was fighting for the King Vons and give me some of these rappers that's passed away. Some more of these gangster rappers.
Smoke.
No.
Folio.
The Folios and the King Vons, they was fighting for them to be labeled as serial unalivers. Especially King Von, because they were saying he killed 7 people or something like that. Excuse me, he unalived 7 people or something like that. You understand? They say he unalived. What's the one from Chicago, boy? Bloodhound Lil Jeff.
Oh yeah.
They said he did 11 people in. They said he took 11 people out, and they want him labeled as a serial unaliver. Right. They want him in the history books as a serial unaliver. You understand? What do you call the race riot mobs with 38 different instances over 3 months take out hundreds of black men? Are they going to be labeled serial unalivers? Do we look at them like serial unalivers? So is the white man a serial unaliver when he ain't got no money? Is that what we're saying? Go ahead.
Slightly, sir. So what about Baku John? That's the boy name that went up in the supermarket, right? That's
In
his name.
Buffalo.
In Buffalo. What about
He
him?
did like 2 people or something, though.
Hmm?
He did like 2 people.
No, what? No.
He did the whole grocery store.
He was running around the grocery store.
At least-
Remember, he
At
almost
least
shot
a dozen.
He almost shot the
funny,
white
but
man.
when you say it like that, it's just like it's a game.
No, he
He
went
did
in
the
there.
whole
That's how
grocery
he-
store.
He said he playing Call of Duty. Reenacting Call of Duty.
I got
He
you.
went-
So I'm saying, I knew there was
He
a
said,
reason in my spirit that he said that like a game.
Yeah.
The media tries to blame Call of Duty.
Right.
I blame him. You understand?
Right.
I blame him. I don't blame Call of Duty. I used to play Call of Duty. I ain't never did that.
He almost shot
I ain't
the white boy
never-
and caught himself.
I ain't never ran up in the supermarket and did that. You understand?
Yes,
So
Sir, he's
don't say that's a Call of Duty.
No, they call it. It said it was like Call of Duty because he had a body cam on. You could see like everything he was doing.
Oh, okay.
It went live. Like he went live. With it.
That's insane. I forgot about that. I thought it was 2. I got you. I forgot about it. I thought it was 2.
It did look unreal, but it was absolutely real.
That's insane. That's insane. Yes, what we gonna label him? Is he going down in the books as well? You understand? Do not let white people make you feel bad for doing what they did. Let me make you feel bad for doing what you did.
That's right.
I
Right.
should make you feel bad. Commander General YAHANNA should make you feel terrible for what you did. You understand?
Right.
You should feel terrible for doing the things you did when you was poor, Rocky. Doing the things you did when you didn't have the Lord, you should feel terrible. You should feel terrible. Those things made you a plague to your community. You understand?
Right.
A plague. And you were the reason that Christ did not return yet.
Mm.
You should feel horrible.
God.
You should feel horrible. Read on.
Donald Khan. 38 separate race riots occurred, all of them white mobs attacking blacks. The worst riot occurred in Chicago after a black youth was stoned for swimming into the white part of the lake. Irish and black gangs battled each other for 13 days. When it was over,
and just remember that for swimming, for going to the white part of the lake, you got stoned. Like we was in the Middle East in the early hundreds, not early 1800s. I said the early hundreds. You understand?
Yeah.
They try to say they're civilized and we're the uncivilized ones, but they stoned him as if we were still running around with sandals. You understand?
Right.
Somebody lying. Someone's lying about who's the plague in America. Somebody lying now. Read on about what happened.
When it was over, 23
No,
black.
no, go back.
Okay. The worst riot occurred in Chicago after a black youth was stoned for swimming into the white part of a lake. Irish and black gangs battled each other for 13 days.
13 days. Go ahead.
When it was over, 23 blacks and 15 whites were dead. 537 were injured, and 1,000 black families were homeless across the country.
Meaning they was burning the houses down. You understand? Go ahead.
More than 1,000 people died this summer. That summer. More than 100 people died that summer, while scores of black homes and businesses were destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
The Attorney General responded by initiating a series of raids against anarchists,
Immigrant anarchists. Bolsheviks and radicals. Mm-hmm.
arresting thousands and deporting more than 500.
Mm-hmm.
Historical records show federal law enforcement officials were terrified of the Bolshevik Revolution in the United States, and federal black Americans feared black Americans would be attracted to communism, radical
egalitarianism.
Somebody
give me the definition of egalitarianism.
With World War I over, the business community closed ranks.
Pause for a second. Give me egalitarianism.
Egalitarianism is a political philosophy that promotes the idea that all people are equal in fundamental worth and moral status, and should be treated as such.
So they were scared that black Americans, because it was being mistreated, would go to communism and egalitarianism. You understand? They were scared that they would run to that instead of living in the capitalism that prevails in the United States. You understand?
With World War I over, the business community closed ranks and honed its anti-union tactics when the AFL struck U.S. Steel in the fall of 1919, shutting down half the steel mills in the country.
That means they had strikes so severe, the steel industry had to shut down half of its production facilities.
Management used every dirty tactic available to them. It smeared the union leaders in the press by calling them Reds and Bolsheviks.
A Bolshevik is a Russian. It's a Russian communist party. Like communism typically never works because it involves trying to, no matter how much you work or how little you work, everybody gets the same everything. Everybody get the same house, exact same size. Everybody get the exact same amount of food, exact this, exact that. It's literally, it does not take into account the difference in how much you work or how little you work or this, that, and the third. They forcibly give everybody the same thing. So somebody who's doing the work of someone who will be a millionaire is going to have the same amount of things and food and pleasures as somebody that is a bum. You understand? And it sounds wonderful when you go, oh, the bums, so let me not say like that. All the people who don't have any money are going to be able to eat and live. But communism never works. It never works. And they feared that black people would go towards that Bolshevikism, or that type of communism, because they were getting treated unfairly.
Right.
Good.
Okay. It smeared the union leaders in the press by calling them Reds and Bolsheviks, derided Yeah, I'm saying that right. Derided the strike workers because they were immigrants and encouraged local and state militia to intimidate and harass the strikers. The original race card players, they brought in 30,000 to 40,000 African Americans and Mexican Americans as strike breakers and taunted the locked out strikers for losing their good white jobs.
Taunted them, saying the white people taunted the other white people, saying, "Look at you! You're striking so goddamn much. The blacks and Mexicans came and took your jobs." Yeah.
Come. This would be the big business playbook for decades.
Meaning, anytime people was demanding too much money, big business would just replace them with a black person or a Mexican person. You understand?
Come.
We're gonna stop right there. I'm gonna go further. I'm gonna go further on that.
I'll cover that in the bro.
Any questions? Somebody give me. All right, get the truck. Somebody give me Proverbs 12 and 24.
So, what's the holiday again that everybody just said?
Labor Day.
So everybody that was off on Labor Day, all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we're basically celebrating us getting effed up again. Basically.
Labor Day is when unions finally got the United States to acknowledge the day and give everybody that day off. Mandatory. Mandatory. Have to give everybody Labor Day off. It's like, that's what that is.
Okay. You said it was Proverbs what, sir?
12 and 24. Ayash, actually continue reading.
Oh. New Deal's advances, race-based exemptions, and the end of Jim Crow. In October 1929, the stock market crashed and $30 million in stock value disappeared within 10 months. 744 banks had failed at the depth of the Great Depression. One of every 4 workers was jobless. Under popular pressure,
That's 25% unemployment.
Under popular pressure, Republicans passed 2 important pieces of legislation. The first, the Davis-Bacon Act of 1931, required federal contractors to pay their workers the wages and benefits that prevail in a locality.
Mm-hmm.
The Norris LaGuardia Act of 1932, the second piece of legislation made it illegal for companies to require workers to sign yellow dog contracts promising not to join the union. It also prohibited courts from issuing injunctions against strikes. In 1932, Roosevelt won resoundingly with coalition that relied on the support of white ethnic union members, African American workers, and conservative Southern Democrats. His New Deal.
These 2 acts, right? These 2 acts that was passed in 31 and 32 basically gave workers the wages they wanted, the benefits they wanted, and they could not ask you not to join the union. You know what I'm saying? So they was able to tell you before that, if you want to work for me, you have to sign this paperwork legally saying that I will never join a union. You understand? And that's what they did, and that's how they prevented people from joining unions and this, that, and the third. But why this part is important is because while all of this amazing stuff was happening around Labor Day, what were you doing in 1930? 1930. Not a slave in 1930. Well, not a physical slave in 1930. You were still segregated.
Yeah, Jim Crow.
You understand? Yeah, that's why I said Jim Crow up top. You understand? You were still dealing with segregation while they was getting all these benefits that they celebrate Labor Day for. We were still slaves. We were still like segregated, and we were still economic slaves.
Right.
You understand? So when they celebrate in Labor Day, even something as so-called harmless as Labor Day, this is why you can't celebrate it, because all the things that America tells you to celebrate never has positive connotations around it for Black people. Meaning it never does anything good for us. Right? We didn't benefit from this when this happened. So I got Labor Day off. I'm gonna go to a Labor Day weekend party. I'm gonna go to the club. I'm gonna go to in the summer parties. You understand? Labor Day is not for you to celebrate. Labor Day, you should remember that white people fought tooth and nail for you to not get the money that they get. You understand?
Right.
So much so, and it was a summer so bloody that they named it the Red Summer in 1919, where it was white people hunting down Black people. All because white people did not have enough money and you were willing to work for their employer for less money. You
Right.
understand?
Right.
Just remember that. Give me that scripture.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 12, verse 19.
24.
Salakia. Verse 24. The hand of the delegate shall bear rule,
Mm-hmm.
but the slothful shall be under tribute. Salakia.
Nah, just give me the instructions.
Read it again, sir.
Yeah, read it again.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 12, verse 24. The hand of the delegate shall
Diligent.
Salakia. The hand of the diligent shall bear rule.
Somebody who's working diligently is going to rule. You understand? You keep working and working and putting what's the term? You put your head down and work, and eventually you'll come up.
Mm.
Somebody that works and works and works will eventually get rulership. Go ahead.
But the slothful shall be under tribute.
But the lazy person shall be under tribute. What is a tribute? When somebody gives you something. You
Right.
understand? It was tribute to you. You understand? A tribute means you don't work for what you get all handouts. You understand? That person will never rule anything. And that's what makes what the white man did on Labor Day so disgusting, because you had a ton of Black people willing to work diligently to get there, to earn their keep. And he still tried to unalive you, still tried to harm us because he wanted more money. You understand?
Right.
You were not being the sloth that he claims Black people are today. He claims Black men want to smoke. Every Black man wants to smoke weed and play 2K. If you let the white man tell it, you want to smoke weed and play 2K, and that's him. The Black woman lays on her back, she pop babies out and get food stamps. You understand? That's what the white man would have you believe about Black people. Right? You understand? But in reality, when Black people tried to work and get all of the resources on their own, he marched into our neighborhoods and unalived us by the hundreds.
Right.
You understand? There's one lesson you can take from that, and it's that he's the damn devil that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
That is the main lesson you can take from that, because it's like no matter what you do, he's going to find a fault with you. And that's because Blacks and whites are not meant to be together. They're not meant to be in the same country. They're not meant to live under each other's roof. You understand that? They were always meant to be separated. And the more that America tries to make this melting pot, the more their country falls. You understand?
Yeah.
Any last minute questions? Not. You had something earlier, I think. No sweat. Class went about 10 minutes early. If there's no more questions, we're gonna wrap it up. Nothing's going on right now. Men of Israel ain't much. About Shabbat. Much.